see Orion taking over the crown of favorite coaster at the park and possibly be the most popular attraction at Kings Island for many years to come.
But as it stands, it's still honestly probably one of the best coasters out there.
Orion is a wonderful addition to Kings Island and my favorite ride there.
But this thing hauls from start to finish with no mid-course brake run in the middle to take your momentum.
This is a Giga Coaster. Giga Coasters are meant to be fast and feel fast. To me, Orion doesn't feel like it goes very fast.
When you look at it in terms of how good of a roller coaster it is as a standalone, this coaster was knocked out of the park.
Orion, located at Kings Island, opened in 2020 to insanely mixed reviews. Some loved it, others said it was an absolute waste. Honestly, I'm more of the it's pretty meh side. But wait, Orion's fans, don't click off. This video isn't about that opinion that it's just alright. It's about the facts, the true stuff. I could say, Orion sucks, and even though that has some truth in it, just kidding. That would be an opinion. But real talk, this video is made to clear up some major things that people need to be aware of when talking about Orion, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope it helps you gain an understanding for why Kings Island built this attraction. Hey guys, welcome to Coaster Journey. And on this channel, we're all about creative lists, rankings, and random junk like this, and fun. So consider subscribing if you want to see stuff like that. This video honestly was really fun to make, so if you want to see more random stuff like this, let me know. But anyways, enough random banter and let's get straight into it. Wait, hold up. Before we start, I just want to say that for 500, I'm actually doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions you want to ask me in the comments below, go ahead and ask. They can be silly questions or serious questions or coaster-related questions. I really don't care. The only thing I ask is that you put it all in one comment. You can edit the comment. You can ask as many questions as you want. Just try to put it in one comment so it's easier for me to go through it. But anyways, let's get into it. I have heard way too many people who haven't rid Orion say, bro, stop complaining, you got a Giga. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say we're happy to get a Giga, but a lot of people think it's just subpar. And when something has potential to be Fury 325 and it isn't even the best ride in the park for a lot of people, it can be disappointing, especially because of how long people were anticipating this. But there is a reason Orion's layout is so weird. Orion was an amazing addition to Kings Island with the honestly smart layout. And yes, this is coming from someone who thinks it is the worst B&M in the park. The two rides that hurt Orion are Diamondback and Fury 325. Diamondback hurts it in a way where they didn't want to make it similar to it. Orion wanted something for everyone. You got family rides, the classic adventure rides, the airtime junkie rides, the fast-paced rides, and the indoor rides. KI wanted Orion to not be too focused on one of these things, and all of these rides are extremely focused to their category. The family rides are greatly themed, and there are a lot of them. The adventure rides are, well, Beast and Adventure Express, need I say more? The airtime rides, Diamondback, a massive B&M hyper. The fast-paced rides, Mystic Timbers. I mean, just watch a POV, and Flight of Fear is really good at being indoors. Yeah, but my guess is that Kings Island wanted Orion to be really unique and well-rounded. Just look at the layout. You start off with a massive floater-filled first drop, and then you go to a surreal wave turn that provides a good view and doesn't really give any floater. Then, you go into a very creative turnaround, an awesome reverse treble clef, which is really cool to be twisting like that high in the air. Then you go into an injector-filled speed hill, then a trimmed airtime hill, and then finally an incredible forcefully Orion's belt. Do you see how well-rounded this is? While writing the script, I kept thinking about what Orion was focused on, but I think it was just made for a ride everyone who likes coasters can enjoy. Some people might not like Diamondback for its lack of positives, or Mystic for its small height. But no matter how much you think it's boring, you'll probably still enjoy the ride overall. After hearing this, you might wonder why people are so disappointed about the ride. Recency bias is one of these reasons. Everybody at first thought it was great, like any other new ride. And then you come something with high expectations, and it's not as good as you want, you might be disappointed. For example, imagine you want an iPhone 11 for your birthday or whatever, and you get an iPhone 8. At the end of the day, it's still an iPhone, and a good one at that. But when your expectations are so high, it's way more disappointing than if you asked for an iPhone 8 to begin with. Another reason people are disappointed is because of the lack of airtime. This ride still has some great airtime, but if it's your favorite thing on a ride like me, then you might rather Diamondback or Mystic. Also, due to recency bias, a lot of people loved the theming, and you might get your expectations that the whole queue is themed and that there are some cool things and stories in the queue. But really, the area is themed, and there's a pre-show along with some posters in the queue, and that's basically it. It's still theming, just not as good as theming as people might expect. Orion is one of the most unique coasters on Earth, which makes its experience much more memorable. Like Diamondback, it's great, but there are a bunch of other rides with similar layouts, and most of the layout is just big airtime hills. But Orion is a bunch of elements performed like any other element. Honestly, it seems like every B&M is focused on inversions or airtime. But this ride wanted to include so much more than just airtime, which is something people are not used to with new B&M. Also, Orion is just massive. There are no really normal turns throughout the ride, except the small turn out of the reverse treble clef. This ride is always doing something higher up. Orion dominates the skyline and this park to make it look beautiful. I have a theory behind Orion's massive layouts. You can get shots from Orion from lots of places in the park. The views of this ride are just amazing, and that turnaround is visible just because of its sheer height. And the wave turn is awesome looking, not to mention the dominating Orion's belt. But what if this was the main part of Orion's marketing scheme? Kings Island really needed a main advertisable ride. One ride that if a GP saw a picture of, they would say, I want to go on that. A lot of KI coasters are isolated or wouldn't be that marketable. With Mystic, people would just be like, ew, a short wooden coaster. No, I don't want to die. And Diamondback isn't completely isolated, and it's pretty huge, but I don't think people would like that darker color scheme as much, and it's really just airtime hills, which GP think look boring. But Orion has a full themed area and isn't that isolated. Also, the ride is towering. I mean, just look at it. It's not that isolated either. The color scheme is beautiful with that bold blue, really pops. A bunch of parks have a ride like this. Cedar Point, Top Thrill Dragster, King's Dominion, I-305, Holiday World. Well, you might say Voyage, but I think GP would like Thunderbird, as it looks really cool. Magic Mountain, Escape from Kirkdown. Honestly, I could go on. Also, the story of Orion is amazing, and the layout actually kind of feels like you're avoiding asteroids. I think we can all appreciate that volunteer stuff theming. The signs saying volunteers are needed for Orion and the constellation stuff, man, that feels so real for some reason. Let me also just say Kings Island has some awesome entrances. Mystic Timbers, the most low-key, awesome, natural entrance, and it just keeps repeating not to enter. And then Orion, where it actually feels like you're about to be a volunteer for this thing. The advertising to this is absolutely amazing to me. That's just about all I have to say for Orion. And let me just recap. I think the layout is made to be a well-rounded attraction and a standout ride for Kings Island. A ride that's easy to advertise and a ride that will draw a lot of GP to the park. And it wasn't too focused on one thing because a lot of rides were already dominating in that category. And people could have been disappointed by this, but really the more you think about it, this really was a genius move for Kings Island. Let me know what you think about this ride and the video in the comments. I really do want to clear up a lot of the arguments and controversies about this ride. Orion was a genius attraction, but just not what all enthusiasts wanted. I really look forward to getting back on this ride, because everyone I rode it with said I got a pretty bad ride on it, so I really look forward to getting back on it in the next few years. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. This has been Coaster Journey, and I'll catch you in the next one.